Hello everyone, and thank you very much, Sean. I think you perfectly summarized what we do here in Singapore. So welcome to Strate School of Design in Singapore, where we run the Master in Design for Smart Cities. But before going to in details about the outcomes, the employability focus we have on this program, maybe you'd like to ask, what kind of design or what is design or what is our definition of design. So for many people, if you speak to 100 people, they may have 100 different representations or stereotypes of design. They may think of a chair, which is an object, a beautiful product, but actually a chair that is well designed but costs 10,000 bucks for just a happy few to have their lovely bottom sitting on it. This is not our definition of design. Then I must say also that we are for more than 30 years a French school of design, so people may tend to think like we are versed to fashion design, jewelry, perfumes, cosmetics. No, I'm afraid this is not our definition of design. The school is one of the top 5 when it comes to design mobility on a global scale, interior design, exterior design, but then again, it's not what we call design. Or you can think of spectacles with augmented reality capability, not design. And then you have the whole array of buzzwords associated with the IoT devices, technology, in that case for healthcare purposes, or even robotics with artificial intelligence. Yes, we do encompass, we do go in depth into all these different disciplines, but this is at the heart, at the core, not design. Sorry. So question is, what is design? What is it all about? So for us, design is this. Design from the very inception throughout the process of innovation, transformation by the design methodology, we have the humans, all the human partakers, all the human stakeholders in focus at every stage of our life. So we're dealing with youth, teenagers, adolescents. So we are tackling issues such as the sexuality, no taboo, drug addiction. We're dealing with, of course, a master in design for smart cities. So we are at the heart of the city, mobilities, where people go, how do they go, why do they go. We tackle social issues, and you will see that in this the education in this program, there is the block of modules related to, I would say, humanities, but including sociology, philosophy, political science, because it would be quite arrogant to think you can come up with solutions for our human fellows without understanding the cultural, the history, the political, sociological background. And yes, one of the topics we are handling through design projects with our partners, industry partners, one of the topics, for instance, is the aging population. So you understand so far that design is humanism, and we have not a slogan, it's really a mindset. It's our creed and our motto is to make the world more simple, more fair, more just, and more beautiful. More simple because if you have to remember one thing here about this education, it's a master degree. So our graduates will hold senior position and are actually holding senior position. And beyond the buzzword, senior position means like you can make a decision into any organization you will eventually join. And what you have to remember is like, yes, you'll be trained through the design methodology as a leader, as a designer by acquiring the posture and the reflexes and the mindset. But it's really about to train caring leaders in tackling complexity, complex systems, and yet to find simple solution. Simple is one of the three keys of our ambition for this education and master degree. And yes, it has to be fair and just in terms of accuracy, which goes back to the origin of the word design. Maybe you don't know what design is coming from. Actually, design comes from the Italian word disegno. And disegno has two meanings. It means like io disegno. It means I draw, I sketch. I have this ability to transform into something impactful, but in a visual manner, in a graphic fashion, something that can be a story, a portrait, and it's a complex history into something visually and graphically impactful. But disegno has a second meaning. Disegno, if you say in Italian, io ho un disegno, it means I have a plan, I have a vision, I have a project. And so we're very close to this, the original definition of design, this dual definition, which is to say you think and do at the same time. Concurrently, you interact between your left brain and the right brain. And yes, it has to be beautiful, not in terms of the wow effect or the aesthetics of it, but beautiful in terms of emotion and sensation. So when you combine these three aspects throughout the sometimes long design process to come up with a simple, just, and beautiful solution, we don't train conceptual artists or designers. We train, again, leaders. So we very much hands-on and down to business, because design is creating value for all the organization. So when you combine these three parameters, these three aspects into your solution becomes more desirable, more adoptable, more acceptable. So just a few words about Strate. We have 4 campuses. The home campus, born 30 years ago in Paris. And within the last 2 years, we opened 3 campuses in Bangalore, in Lyon, which is the second largest city in France, and in Singapore. A few, the advertising slides, you see for yourself. We've been ranked and spotted by different review, of which Bloomberg Business as one of the leading schools in design in the world. In Singapore, we hosted at the National Design Center, which is right in the middle of the city. For those who are not from Singapore, it's a beautiful historical building. And it's also the headquarters of the Design Council, government agency that handles everything related to design. And so we're very much supported by the government here. So it's a master in design for smart cities. And I'd like to say here that we don't care so much about the smart city. I know it's a bit provocative, but where we're going to work on through the project, through the cross interactions between all the different disciplines you're going to have, is not so much about, oh, I'm going to focus on artificial intelligence or on smart mobility. No, we're going to work on how do we live into an urban connected space. Okay, so it's about situation of life. This is what we want to change. This is what we want to transform. So this is how we create. How do we eat? Makan, chafan. How do we decide? How do we enjoy life? How do we move inside these spaces? And for always, a man at the center. And below the sea level is actually all the tools we're going to leverage to come up with simple, fair, and beautiful solutions. Artificial intelligence, sensors, building, smart building, energy, water, and retail. So what is designed by Strate? How do we come up with an articulation of all these disciplines into a curriculum? You understand so far, and I'm not going to read this, is by definition an amalgamation, a mix, a combination of culture, yes, sometimes very much overlooked in institutions, universities, or school of design, with a strong emphasis on humanity, from political science to philosophy, to sociology. And it's about learning. It's about learning new competencies, new skills. We don't invest into an education to do a repeat of what we've done through our initial education or experience. So it's about learning also new methodologies that truly trigger, create innovation and transformation, not just update or I would say upgrade of existing products, processes, services, experience, whatever. So it's about creativity, even for people that think like I'm not creative. And at the heart, you know, the DNA is like cross and pluridiscipline through practice and in the industry immersion. So what I want to say is like, how do we deploy this practice and industry immersion? Very clearly, this just the snapshot samples of all the partners we've been dealing and working with over the last 25, 30 years. So we're going to have at least nine different design projects in this master program. All of them are actually industry sponsored, and all our lecturers are active professional practitioners. This is project, and specifically some of the projects we have so far in Singapore, including government agencies like Prime Minister's Office, GovTech, but also social innovators and research, and obviously mostly what you call here MNCs, that is multinational corporations. Our lecturers, same background. Really, when it comes to employability, what we mean here is like all these industry partners and lecturers, they come for a reason, not because they like my face or they like design. They do like, not my face, but they do like design because design creates value for their organization. But they're also here to detect talent, the sought after talent that government and corporation in Asia are looking for. So it's about employability. We do doing it in Singapore. There's no other place we could, because this is actually the only space we can actually interact with the population that is craving for new solutions, new technologies, new ideas, with the government results and with the infrastructure at a live urban scale. So what is at stake? The Asian population will grow by 1 billion, 1.2 billion, depending on the demographic statistics, within 15 years. And 80% of them will live in cities. The rate of urbanization will reach 80% within 15 years. And then all the urban planners, politicians agree on one thing: a city with the population of about 15 million inhabitants, the level of complexity is too high to ensure and secure social rest and happiness for the citizen inside. So that's why you have all these smart cities projects popping up throughout Asia, 130 in China, 100 in India, even in small countries like Cambodia, you know, with a small population, they have smart city projects. But actually the projects that have gone through with smart city by the books have proved very unsuccessful. They may be smart, they will have all the technology available from sensors, apps, and so forth, autonomous vehicles, but they are smart ghost cities. You can check on your side after the Q&A, we can also provide you information. So why did they fail? Why did they waste $40 billion in South Korea, in Malaysia, in India, in some cases in China as well? Because they deployed technology thinking like the human experience gonna follow. And it didn't happen. So it is at the very heart of our design education to think first what could be the most conducive and happy experience for all the citizens, the dwellers, the tourists into this urban connected space. And then we see what technologies we can leverage on, and not the other way around. So I said that again, is to train designers and leaders in tackling complex systems and designing, yes, simple solutions. And we're the only one in Singapore. We're the only one in Asia. We're actually the only one. No one actually addressed, this major stake, which is all these smart city projects that are actually blossoming throughout the planet and specifically in Asia. So we need a specific education so that next smart cities will not be a fail. So in short, it's a 2-year master program, 18 months on campus. I mean, not so much on campus because you go out, you interact, you observe, you question all the stakeholders in the smart cities, and in that case in Singapore. But it's roughly speaking 18 months on campus and 6 months internship or industrial attachment. And yes, we do place our students, whether in Singapore or in Europe or United States. You're going to have at least 9 hands-on projects. And the cost for 2 years in Singapore dollars, not in US, is $42,000, including GST or VAT, wherever you come from. So how do we articulate the syllabus? I'll go very quickly on this one. We run by blocks of modules. Blocks that are interacting, as you see, between themselves. The lecturing modules, we will deploy immediately into the design project to leverage on all the disciplines we acquire to make sure we achieve our target. So what are the blocks of modules? Design, obviously, but not only through, I would say, the traditional approach, design thinking, for instance. No, it's beyond that, it's a culture of design. It's new methodologies, and the one from Strate is one of the most effective because we deploy them into the organization through executive education. And the dimension of design we're going to focus is mostly interactive design, service, and experience design. Representation and visualization. Remember the origin of the word design. We're not going to draw, you're not going to sketch, you're not going to be a painter, but the techniques we steal from these artists, so to speak, are basically 3D modeling through the design methodology, from thinking of first of a storyboard throughout the process until After Effects, and all the development of apps and services, meaning websites. So 3D modeling, we go from the basics, so we're using the tools, we can use Maya, 3ds Max, and we go all the way with Unity for everything related to virtual, mixed, and augmented reality. And something that is typically overlooked also by many, many universities. You can work 5 months on a project, you still have 10 minutes to pitch. And to make an impact, and yes, to sell your solution, you have to think and being capable of putting your message through. So what tools, why you're using different tools, what you're going to say, time management. In short, being professional when you pitch. Sociology, human sciences, humanities, I think we touched on this. And yes, technology, because to generate innovation, you must understand, not at a superficial level, Wikipedia type, what are all these technologies that we can deploy. So you're gonna put your hands on very deeply into a culture and a practice of all these technologies, because generating innovation, you're not doing it alone. It's collective and collaborative intelligence. So to kill the it's not possible syndrome, you have to understand why this person may say your solution is not applicable. And you must establish in its natural language trust for you to bringing to sheer and genuine innovation. And about smart cities cannot go without understanding the system and flows, from human flows, big data, data protocols, urban infrastructure, urban planning, and protocols. So you can have all the details after this presentation. This is just the synoptic view. We have actually 48 modules that are actually assembled in blocks. The good news is it's a master degree where there is no exam, but every 48 module is actually marked. You're going to be graded mostly through continuous and attendance. But also for the design project, it's the industry representative that will grade you through your presentation or your pitch. So how we take bachelor degree holders can be designed, most likely, and like from our experience, a lot of bachelor in science or engineering, management or science. The internship, again, can be done pretty much everywhere where we place a student. And for people with the non-initial education in English, these are the requirements in terms of languages or English language. And once you submit your admission form together with all the documents necessary, the last step still is it's an interview with the program director. So the interview, the bad news is if you do it in Singapore, you can do it also in Paris, but in Singapore, it's going to be me. But the good news is like, I'm not going to do the talking. You guys gonna talk, and we want to see what is your potential aspiration. Have you, are you curious? Are you empathetic? And then upon this interview, then you're finally admitted to the Master in Design for Smart Cities. Career opportunities, you can read. The average salary from our graduates, master, with no working experience is 40,000 euros per year, which is around about 60,000. With 2 years, it's $80,000 per year. And here I'm done with the presentation mostly. This was the opening last year with Senior Minister of State. And this is what you do in a School of Design, from 3D modeling, graphic facilitation, pitch. And one thing I didn't mention is like we engage students through during their education to participate in international competitions, design and science or engineering, whatsoever. So last year we sent at no cost for the students, one cohort in China, they won the 3rd prize. So this is something that is typically part of this education with lots of innovation by design workshops. So just a glimpse of the final degree solution, which you're going to do over the last month, thesis and design project. And the last day in school is oral defense, where you present your thesis and your final solution. So this is different awards for you to see. We are, our students are, regular winners of the James Dayton and L'Oreal design competition, or as well for car or automotive sector. Of course, in Singapore, as you know, or you don't know, there is life beyond the campus, and not only, it's so pertinent and sensible to have this master degree in Singapore, but not only for this master education, but to also enjoy life in many aspects in Singapore. Voila. Thank you everyone for your attention, and we'll take any question. Sean, if you still have a little bit of time.
So we still have about 10 minutes, so you can choose to ask some questions right now if you have any questions. Just use the Q&A box at the bottom to input your questions.
Okay, don't be shy, but if you're shy, it's okay. I'm shy too. But you can also take note or take a photo of, you know, our details, email, WeChat, whatever.
I understand there was one question as well. Maybe Jack or Patricia, you would like to address it?
I think it has been addressed. In Singapore or in Paris, actually, we don't actually provide accommodation solution per se. But obviously, we have a great staff to recommend the best and most competitive accommodation solution.
Oh, then we have time for one more question. Jody is asking, do candidates need to have a background in design?
So I read the question for everyone. I would like to find out what would be the ideal candidate, I suppose, profile for this course to be like. What would be the part-time course be like? There is no ideal candidate in terms of initial education. There is no ideal candidate because there is no ideal world. But however, what we're looking again, you know, for candidates is they must have a project, a personal project, and they must be curious. I think this is the main trait of quality we're looking at. And for the part-time, it's actually 2 years, also 2 years, but there's no industrial attachment or internship. Because by definition, if you choose the part-time, that means you will work or you already have some working experience. So you don't need an internship to discover the wonderful world of corporations or organizations. So it's 2 years. It's quite intense in terms of workload, especially the first year. But feel free to get back to us, and we're very happy to entertain and to answer to all your questions. Last, if we still have 1 minute, for Singaporeans, our Singaporean friends, there are some grants and awards that are from Skill Future. So this program is eligible to different scholarships or grants from the government. So feel free to get back to us on this one. So Jody, thank you very much for this very good question. Do candidates need to have a background in design? The answer is no. Clearly no. I think there's more questions popping up. There's another one. Do you have any scholarship? I think I just, Patricia will start in detail, you know, but yes, there are scholarships. There is one which is the Skill Future Design Council Scholarship, and it's a full-fledged scholarship actually. So does one need to have a project on hand in order to enter the course? Again, the answer is no, you don't need to have an ongoing project to enter the course, because you will go through at least 9 different projects. So let me tell you, it's quite intense, so you don't need another project ongoing. But if you have, it could be certainly one of the, you know, problem statement or question we could address in one of the modules. So if you want to see the campus, most likely it's going to reopen from the first week of June onwards. Again, level 2 at the National Design Center. It's a beautiful campus, very conducive to for a master education.
Thank you, Jack.
Interacting with you. Thank you, Sean.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.